Hey everybody, go blue. Joining TJ and myself coming up in just a second, exclusive interview with Micah Kaapana and more coming up next on Michigan Wolverines Live. And welcome into another episode of Michigan Wolverines Live. My name's John Diadamo, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour or so. It's Tuesday, June 4th, 2024, one day before my birthday. That's right, folks. So coming on here, quick reminders for our 151st episode. Go ahead and hit the like button. Obviously, we got a great guest today. Let's show the love. Hit the like button. Subscribe to Michigan Football, the voice of college football. And if you don't mind sharing this out with a friend, it just takes a second. We will be posting the links, of course, to our guests' social and everything else. So please go ahead and follow him and all of that good stuff. But joining us right now, of course, my co-host for each and every episode and the host of our Michigan Wolverines call-in show, we got TJ in the house. Go blue, TJ.
Hey, go blue, John. What's up, man? Extremely excited for this interview. Extremely excited to have Mike on. It should be a good one, man. Shout out to Moose for helping us get this going. And, yeah, man, I just excited to see what Micah has to tell us and, and getting to know him more,
Absolutely. So why don't we go ahead and do just that? And let's bring him on. We've got Micah Kaapana, Michigan running back, joining us today. Micah, thanks for stopping by Michigan Wolverines Live and Go Blue.
Of course. Appreciate y'all for having me, man. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, Micah. And before we jump in, definitely our links are all over the place. But remind people where they can find you. If they want to follow you.
My @ on every social media is my name, Micah Kaapana. Instagram, Twitter, anything. Just hit me up.
Awesome. All right.
Is that you, John, or Micah?
That's me, sorry.
Oh, that's you, bro? All right.
It's
perfect timing, dude. Fair enough. All right. So, Micah, we wanted to get you familiar with the Michigan community. This is pretty much your first introduction to not only our community, but the greater, overall Michigan football community. And, one of my first questions for you is, tell us about your background, your journey, and how'd you become interested in football? And when did you know you wanted to play college football in your journey?
Really just background information about me for anyone who doesn't really know me. I grew up in Hawaii. I moved to Vegas around when I was 14. I have a big family. I come from a family of 11. I'm the youngest, by the way, too. So last one in school and everything. So it's pretty interesting. But it was kind of interesting growing up because my family was a little split on like what we were doing. Half of my brothers and sisters and everything, they did rodeo side of things, and I was all my brothers started off playing football too, but I was kind of the only one that drifted in that direction. So it was pretty interesting on that part. I kind of got into football when I was like pretty much my whole life. I was always around it. Grew up just loving the sport. My dad played football when he was in school, so it was just interesting. I just loved playing the sport, loved scoring, like the fan interactions. Around when I was like second grade, I kind of had that feeling where I knew it was like something that I wanted to do. Like it was just more than just playing, just because. And that was from a young age too. So it was just a good upbringing to the sport, and I'm glad that I got involved in the way that I did, and it's been going good since.
Definitely.
Awesome. So you're seeing some love from our chat here. We've seen Sound the Alarms. It's Micah. We've seen You're Watching the Next Great Michigan Running Backs. You're getting some love from the community here for sure.
Some big phrases.
So, more on your background and stuff, obviously, whether it's football or otherwise, every athlete has influences. who were some of yours? Who were some of the people that inspired you as you were kind of growing up in your journey?
Really just my whole family, my parents, my siblings. Me being the youngest, I always had people to just look up to. My parents just always teaching me right from wrong, never to give up, just all the many life lessons that they taught me, it's just inspiring in itself. They pushed me to be my hardest or my best, uh, just to do my hardest in everything that I do. Um, my siblings, they're all older than me. They all been through trials and tribulations that I can't even, yeah, that I wouldn't even be able to go through. But they're my inspirations. I look up to them. They just push me to become the best that I can be, and I just know that they always got my back. They're supporting me. Uh, Football side of things, I'd say some of my favorite inspirations growing up was like Ray Lewis. That was my biggest one because I'm a big
Oh yeah,
Ravens fan too. So
absolutely.
yeah, I just loved his story growing up. Like just hearing how he was growing up and how it impacted his football life and everything. It was just a great story. I also looked up to people like Marcus Mariota, DeAnthony Thomas, Manti Te'o. I say Manti Te'o and Marcus Mariota because they came from the place I came from. So, they have that same edge to them. They have that same, just everything about that is just good. I say DeAnthony Thomas. I just love watching his highlight tape growing up. He was just an insane playmaker and great guy. So those are some inspirations I look up to. I look forward. Yeah.
Is there a running back? I'm going a little off script here, but you kind of inspired me. Is there a running back you
Mhm.
watch that inspires you that you try to take from their game, or is like
Easy, Reggie Bush.
hell
I
yeah?
used
All
to
right,
watch his highlights all the time growing up. I used to just hit the SC. Yeah, that was the only time I used to just love SC. Just watching Reggie Bush. That's it. Everything else is
absolutely,
yeah.
for sure. All right. So during your recruiting process, right? So what made you choose Michigan? What stood out to you? Could you share, like, for all of us who aren't familiar? I mean, you got to live, kind of the dream, man. You got to literally be courted by a bunch of schools, and you're a highly touted prospect. Did you enjoy the process, or were you the type of kid who didn't really wanted to get it over with and wasn't too into it?
Of course, I enjoyed the process because it happened to everyone. I was blessed and
Right.
fortunate to have the opportunity to, go to all these different schools and stuff. But I was just taking it all in. I was just enjoying it. But since I got the offer back in May, it's been going good. Sorry, mate, there's some noise going around in the background.
Oh, you're
But
good.
but yeah, I just been enjoying the journey. Of course, I wasn't one of the person that would just brush it aside or anything. I did want to get it over with because I did want to focus on my senior year of high school. So that's when I did commit before my senior year, so I could get that out the way and just focus on football. But other than that, yeah, I took it all in. I was just like a sponge to all that information, just being able to just yeah, take it all in.
Yes. So
Nice.
why Michigan though? What made Michigan stand out for you?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, you're good.
Michigan. It's like why not Michigan,
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's what I said.
but
I've heard that one from commits too. Yeah.
nah, but everything since I took a couple trips before I came up here or before I actually made the decision to commit to this school. But everything that about the trips, like just meeting every person, every coach, every teacher, every staff member, whoever it may be, like they just all had that um just good vibe to them. Like they're all just more than like they talk to each other more than just co-workers, like they treat each other like it's family. It's more like a respect thing. So that's something that I've seen in a whole bunch of people here. That's something that I still feel and see and love. So um it was just something that made it way easier knowing that I can have that same family feeling and be able to just feel like I'm at home, even though I'm not physically at
Right.
home. But right.
Right.
It was just a great feeling that I got from all the players and coaches and all that. So, um, it's a great public school. It's a great academic school. So it's something that that just instantly just caught my attention, and I'm glad I made the decision.
Well, we're glad you made the decision, and I'm with you. Like having a degree from Michigan is awesome,
Right.
and I could say that I went class of 2014. So definitely some interesting years in terms of football there. You know, we had our ups and downs, right? But the experience there is really something, and I know everybody has a different answer to this. I'm curious, and we'll get back to the script in a second. But but in terms of like, do you have like a memory of your Michigan recruiting that really stands out, or like somewhere that they took you, or something that they showed you, like this is what could happen?
Well, this ain't really the best memory, but this is a memory that I will never forget. um, when I was coming here to take my official visit, I actually got stuck at the airport, and I had like a 12-hour layover. I was at the airport literally all day. And it was just a crazy experience. It was something I would never forget. But a good memory, a good experience that I have gone through at this place. Really just on the OV, because I had a couple kids here who were actually still come to this school. But really just to make those relationships that I met on the OV. Being able to go out and just roam the streets, just have fun, just being able to be here with the boys. So that was the greatest memory I had.
Yeah, you're definitely getting. I think it looks like you brought some fan club along here, because we've had some new viewers today. We appreciate everybody who's stopping by to support Micah. This is awesome. But so on the recruiting topic again, we've seen you on social. It's obviously public that you've been seen with some recruits like Utu and Meadows and some others, and so how's that going? Like, not just some people, they would go to prom, they would go and they would go through the regular process, but you're going above and beyond, and you're really helping recruit people to the university. So how's that going? Like, what are your thoughts on like how that's going for you?
Yeah, it's very interesting because I'm still new to this place too as well. So it's kind of interesting coming from the west side and coming from a small island, stuff like that. Being able to just make it to this place and having not that many people from the west side or anything like that, just be able to come to the school and get this opportunity, and being able to have teammates that have that same opportunity like Utu and Meadows, and me being able to just feed them information of just good knowledge or just anything that I know about this place, because this is a great place to be. And I tell them that all the time. So they better know that. They better keep that in mind as well. But it's very interesting because I don't know, I have two ways of thinking of it, or not two ways, but different ways of thinking of it, just being able to recruit them and having my boys here to play with me, or just having like football player, like having a real teammate that'll be here for me. So it's an interesting process though. I do tell them, I speak their mind, speak my mind to them about anything that they might be going through on this process, because I went through it as well. So I keep them uplifting about Michigan. Michigan better be high on their board, and I tell them that. But it's an interesting process. I'm glad to be able to be a part of it and be able to get my teammates, my boys who I know, to come here.
So are you like hitting them up all the time, or do you like kind of give it like room to breathe? Like you text them every morning, like go blue?
I give them room to breathe, because I do know it gets stressful around that time, making a decision and all that. And I don't want to be too much to where they're just like brushing me off. So I do give them their space, but it's always go blue. Every time I see them, come on, man, you know what it is. It's go blue.
Man. Oh yeah. All right, man. So transitioning to, you're now on campus, you're now with the team. Have you had a chance to lift with the team, practice, and what's that like? And then can you tell us a little bit about Tony Alford?
Yeah, I got here last Sunday, and then we started kicking things off like really the next day. We started rolling into it, got lifts going, baseline studies and stuff, like so they could get numbers on us. But it's been going pretty good. The lifts, the energy, the intensity that they bring is just insane. And I love being around that environment to where like everyone has the same goal, like they're all wanting to get better each and every day. So it's something that I look forward to. Um, Being around Tony, Coach Alfred, I don't know why I called him Tony, but being around Coach, man, he's just a character. He's funny all in himself. I didn't really know him much because I did get recruited by Coach Hart, but be after Coach Hart left and Coach Alfred came in, like he's just been a great guy. Everything that he's been saying, he knows what he's talking about football wise. He's been in the game for a long time. He coached people like Zeke and J.K. Dobbins, and so he's been around those people. He's produced people to get to where they need to go. So I feel comfortable under his wing, and I feel good things coming.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, can you let the viewers kind of know about Justin Tress? You were kind of telling us before the show a little bit about him. Like, what can you tell us about him? Like, what type of energy is he bringing, and how's the transition going?
Tress, man. Like I was telling you guys earlier, he's just like a little firecracker. Like
Oh, yeah.
he's just everything's just bottled up, and he's just ready to explode. And I can see that he's very passionate about what he does. Like everything, every coaching point that he makes, like he's just very on it, like detail oriented. And I feel like he replaced the role of Coach Herbert pretty good as he stepped in those shoes. Like it was big shoes to fill. A lot of people like Coach Herbert, and I never really got to know him personally, like or been under his coaching, but I knew he was a great guy, and I feel like Coach Trev stepped up that role pretty good.
Nice. Well, on the topic of kind of getting acclimated to Michigan and everything else, that kind of takes us to a little bit back, but a little bit to the present. So about a year ago, fun fact, I was on with the owner of our entire network, Mark Rogers, voice of college football. And I said to his face, and he does like the a little bit of the Buckeye lean there. And I said to his face, this guy Micah, he's going to be something. He's going to be maybe the next Blake, or definitely underrated. I think in the recruiting rankings, and you could see it right here from the bursts of speed that you have, the cuts that you make, and some of this film. And so, with all that said, could you just let the audience of our channel just know, like, what can they expect from Micah Kaapana? Like, what are some of the things they could look for?
Aside from football, I would say something that the fans or people can expect from me, just a hard worker, someone who's just going to keep their head down and just grind. I'm not a quitter. I never actually believed in quitting. Something that I don't, yeah. And I don't like to lose either on that topic. But I feel like on football side of things, I never really played running back growing up. I played receiver, so being able to have that different category of skills, like I feel like it can help me find a way into this Michigan offense, find a way onto the field. So something to look forward to in me is just really just a hard worker. So you're gonna get the best out of me each and every time and each and every rep. So
definitely did. So, I mean, what are your goals at the University of Michigan? Like, what are your short-term goals? Obviously, your freshman year right now, and then, what's your long-term goals that you're willing to share? I mean, I'm sure maybe you have like a personal goal that you might keep to yourself, visualize it, right? But, what is something that you are willing to share to the audience in terms of short and long-term goals for yourself here at Michigan?
Right. As my first year here, I really just want to be able to get acclimated to everything, get everything under control, get a routine going. So that's something that I want to get organized with. Long-term goals, my long-term goal always been to make it to the big leagues beyond college. And I feel like Michigan is a good pathway along that to help guide me along that way. Another long-term I want to get out of Michigan, really just I always wanted to be the greatest. I always wanted to be great. I never wanted to settle or be satisfied with being okay or being average. So You know, I want to be that person that's just like, be able to break records and just be known. So I feel like Michigan is the right place where I could do that. You know, it's a good offensively and defensively as well. Just a great team in general, but a great run offense, and I feel like it's just a great place to be.
Definitely.
That's fantastic. If you don't mind, Micah, we do have a question from one of our members, and I think this is a good one to kind of paint the overall picture here before we let you go, which is wondering what your take is. And thank you, Roy, by the way. Wondering what your take is on the overall culture of Michigan football under Coach Moore and the other football leaders in the locker room.
Really, Coach Moore, he did a good job of stepping in Coach Harbaugh's shoes as well. Like some of the boys around campus and school just call him Big Papa. So that just having that name just should really mean something. Just knowing that everyone's close to each other, knowing that the boys are close to him, they talk to him like he's a family member. But I feel like he's just done a great job leading us. And some of the practices that I came to out in spring, like I've seen his leadership, his mentorship. It's really something that I value and I feel like I can learn from. And he definitely stepped up that role pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, we do have some people saying some really good things here. We got Mike Fort. Thank you for coming back. One of our moderators saying possible first round draft pick. So you know, this is great because I'll be honest. Like when I saw the 3-star thing, I was like, this is complete BS. Because
Right.
if you actually watch the film on this guy, he looks like at his Blake Corum at his best. He looks like some of the best running backs Michigan's had. So I think you know what? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Like, I mean, I was watching when Blake Corum came from St. Francis, another highly prestigious high school program, and I too saw Blake Corum in your highlight tape. But I mean, obviously, you're your own man, dude. So like, we know that. Like, you're going to create your own path. And but like, can you actually like let us know when you see that the rankings, and you know what type of player you are? Like, what does it do? Like, what do you think about the rankings in terms of like, is that giving you motivation? Does it piss you off? Like, what are the rankings to a player like you who's so underrated and not appreciated by some of these services?
It definitely got to me at first because I felt like just not even being ranked at first, like it was just disrespectful. But after I did get my ranking in, I just feel like nothing changed. Like it stayed there since. I felt it was just definitely just a drive. It was a motivator to push myself, to just to better myself, to show people that really like the rankings mean nothing. You could be a 5-star and just go out to college and no one knows your name, or you could be a no star and get to college and everyone knows your name. So it's really just the mindset that you take with these things. But I really tried to stay away from it, but it really was a driving factor. Definitely going into my seasons. So
Right.
yeah, it's a big drive.
That's cool to know. Yeah, I've always wondered because like some kids are just like I don't understand what these evaluators are looking at. Like some of them are like, oh well, they don't come to camps. It's like, I don't know, man. And then also they do the evaluation.
That was a big thing for me too, because I didn't really go to the camps too. So I feel like that's where I strayed off from things too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's bros. Yeah. But while we wait for him to come back, but yeah, I think like I said, and people can roll the tape back till I think it was like April, May, June, somewhere around there from last year, and we watched the whole huddle tape on our show. Like so when it was announced that you were committing, like we literally just we watched the whole thing, and I pointed out the areas in which I thought that this guy could literally be really special for us. So I'm glad to hear you're using it as a kind of a chip on your shoulder, but also like to motivate you to get up and lift and all of those things every day.
So that was the biggest thing. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love it. Well, just know that here on out, like you're a friend of the program. We really appreciate you. I know how busy you've been. I know you were just at prom, graduation, all this stuff. Now you're going through program. You're actually helping recruit. So the fact that you took some time for our show, it does mean a lot. And you're welcome back anytime. And we really appreciate it. But I do just want to ask you, do you have any final thoughts for us, or where people, just remind people if they didn't watch the beginning of the show and they're just stopping by, where they can find you as well?
You guys can find me at Micah on all socials. But really, you guys should check out the Michigan Wolverine Live. They're out here doing great things, doing great podcasts, great live shows. They're really just doing their thing, help them blow up, and looking forward to see their outcome. I thank you guys for reaching out to me and having this opportunity to just build my name a little bit. So thank you so much.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, dude. Honestly,
Of course.
we appreciate it. To have a player that, like, I think you're kind of a fan. I mean, you're not kind of, you're a fan favorite, and like, because we got a lot of like recruiting guy, like people who just follow it, and Jordan Marshall, another running back coming in, like and as you know, like we're very run focused at Michigan, so like we're extremely excited for our running backs, our offensive linemen. So, man, I mean, I just want to like wish you good luck on the season, dude. Keep grinding, stay focused, fuck the haters, bro, and just put in that work, dude. And and again, thanks for coming on, Micah. We couldn't have asked for a better interview, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys' time.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Micah. And I got to end with this: Go Blue.
Go blue,
sir.
bro.
Go blue.
Yeah.
Thanks, Micah.
Yes,
have a
sir.
good one.
You too, man.
All right. So that was incredible. And and Jackson is right. Let's get Micah to 3,000 followers on X and Instagram, and closer to 10 during the season. Let's really blow these up. I saw a couple people saying they already followed him.
Let's support our boy, dude. For real, let's support our boy, dude. Let's give him all the support our community can give him, and obviously we'll keep pushing any of his socials, as long as he tells us, or he wants us to push it. But I mean, what a great interview, John. I mean, this is what I mean, and you could tell, like, this, he's obviously a Michigan caliber player, great character, focused, driven, hell of an athlete. I'm extremely excited. Obviously it's his freshman year. He's gonna have to get acclimated, not only academically, but on the field. He was telling us, we didn't really talk about it, but before the show, he was telling us he's getting up real early in the morning to hit 6 a.m. lifts. So, he's really taking on a lot right now, and just wish the kid nothing but the best.
Absolutely. We'll be following every step of the way, all day, every day here at Michigan Football, the voice of college football. And we have a big announcement now. So we want to bring on host of Smash the Numbers and our regular guest commentator here, Ferris Khan, in the house. Ferris, go blue. Thanks for stopping by.
You're muted, my friend.
What an interview just now. I wanted to be on mute because I didn't know if the sirens were what a great person. You could tell he's smart and he's humble. What in addition to all of the other athletic accolades for him, Michigan knows how to get the best people. That's what I wrote in the chat there. Not just physical players, right? So really looking forward to seeing him on the field. And
absolutely.
Right.
So we've got a big announcement, but we'll tackle these two super chats, and then we've got a really big announcement. And TJ, you did mention it on the show, so it's not like breaking news, but we'll get to these two super chats first. Nick, Mike is going to help us get Ryan Day fired. Thank you, Nick. Let's see what happens there. Big Ten team rivalry show. So that's Cliff and Mac, I believe. Thank you for the super chat, and future Michigan man. Great interview, guys. thank you for
Yeah, thank
supporting
you.
us here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone. Well, let me just say, John,
Yeah, please.
thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone in the comments supporting the show, the interview. Thank you for the super chats. And then if you also would like to support the show, John can tell you how.
All right, everybody. So this was kind of teased on Thursday night show. We posted about it, but here it is. We now have a way to support on a regular basis Michigan football, the voice of college football, and get more involved, really participate more, or get some perks in return for supporting us. And you may be familiar with this idea, but YouTube memberships. And we now have them here at Michigan Football, the voice of college football. You can be a YouTube member. And we've got a couple of tiers here. And we even have a few people who have already signed up for a membership. So you'll see at the bottom of the screen here, 3 tiers. Leaders and Best for $2.99. And thank you, Moose, for signing up for that. And that's where you get the emojis, the badge. Then on tier 2, that's the Those Who Stay Will Be Champions tier at $4.99. So we already have one person, Roy Messer, who's signed up for that. So thank you, Roy, for being part of the Those Who Stay tier, and that adds a little bit more. We'll have a monthly hangout with probably a couple of us that'll be on there. So we'll do a monthly hangout with people starting at that level that you can check out. You also get priority comments. So if you post a comment or you post a chat on our live shows, we're going to prioritize responding to that. So if we see that you have a badge and you're a YouTube member, you're going to get priority, which is why we showed Roy's question while Micah was still on, because he has signed up for that level of tier. So as a thank you for signing up for that level of tier, he got to ask Micah a question, basically. So that's the kind of stuff that you can get at that tier. And if you really want to support us, you have a little extra, in the couch cushions. We have tier 3 is the Connor Stallions what is it? The Renaissance. Here it is. Espionage team. You can join the Connor Stallions Espionage team at $9.99. And that's where you can actually help run the shows by suggesting content, suggesting topics, and we'll be asking on a regular basis for content suggestions and things like that. So you can help shape how we do our shows on a regular basis. So those are our 3 tiers, TJ.
And if you are a Connor Stallions Espionage team member, you get a social media follow from me, John, and Ferris. So that is there and available. So anyone who's a part of that very special select group of very important people, you will be getting connected with us on the socials.
We will directly alter, based on your feedback, some of our content if you give us if you're at that level, at least to a certain
alter. I mean, we may we'll take some topic ideas and stuff, but yeah,
just get it's, of course, this is just a the name is a bit of a, we're doing this in all in good fun. So I know there may be some Buckeye fans that are going to say,
no, actually we're not. What
is this espionage thing? Are they doing espionage together in some sort of collective way? This is for this show. I just want to make sure that was clear.
Actually, it's not true. Connor's a close and warm personal friend, and we're still doing work. But don't worry about it. All right, don't worry about it. We got it covered. We're handling shit. It is what it. You'll see next November, Ohio State.
Absolutely, and we do want to thank a couple of people here for. So Moose was the charter first member. So thank you, Moose, and thank you, Moose, for getting for introducing us to Micah. So Moose is just carrying some water and really being an MVP for this entire channel. So thank you to Moose first and foremost, who did also just gift an additional membership. So he signed up for his own, and now he's gifted somebody a membership. I believe it was ZZM. So now, so we've got that. So thank you to Moose, and also Roy Messer, who is the charter member of the Those Who Stay Will Be Champions tier. So really appreciate you guys getting in and hitting the join button, and being a member. And I'll leave the floor to you guys to comment from there.
No, definitely. I mean, this is just the next step for our channel. Like, we've kind of have, told you guys over the last few weeks, we're looking to take the channel to the next level. And this is one step to that next level for our channel. And, we really, again, we appreciate the community. We think the channel is ready to take this next step. We actually just had a meeting today. We have more coming. There's more coming to the show, to the network. And, we're just really excited about it. So stay tuned. And, and we're looking to roll a lot of it out before the start of the football season. So just stay tuned, and we'll have it for you.
Yeah. John, I think you're a bit of an OG, at least, versus the two of us. And I think we have probably 3 or 4 times the amount of content versus what we've had maybe 6 months ago on a weekly basis. So we have content every Tuesday. We now have content every Thursday. We're looking to, I'm looking to publish every Monday the Smash the Numbers info. And so we have content throughout the week. We also do clips of our shows, so it's a little bit shorter content that you can consume as well. So we're really looking forward to it. We just hit the 7,000. I want to get us all the way up to Michigan Stadium capacity. Does anybody know what that capacity is?
Yeah, like what, 107,500, 107,500?
Oh, very close. 107,601, I believe, if I have that right. So that is the goal. Can we get us to 107,601? That's what I'm looking for. If every Michigan fan would just subscribe, that we would get there in one Saturday afternoon. So.
Yeah, and then also I want to point out on Tuesdays we got the new segment point a minute with Cliff and Mac. They've been doing that the last few weeks, and they just put out an episode today actually talking about Ryan Day. So we really got it every day. We're trying to bring something every day to the channel, and I think we're hitting it. There's going to be more coming, in the future, but yeah, I mean, I think we're getting ourselves to the point where you can look at our channel as a platform where we are covering all aspects of Michigan, from metrics to recruiting to breaking news to just perspectives from all angles. So if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and make this your home for Michigan content.
Yeah, and also in the higher levels of membership, kind of help us. We've explored ideas of going into other platforms. We've also explored should we do more video game content, things like that. What do you want? It'd be great to learn a little bit more about that, so we can give you what you want. And we are so excited about really ramping up what we can do in time for the start of the season. And then when the season rolls around, we're going to do stuff, right at post game. We're going to do stuff on throughout the week as well at an even higher level, because we'll have more, at least from my perspective, we'll have more and more data to kind of look through. And please let maybe you're a hardcore fan, maybe there's a casual fan that is a friend of yours or whatever, as a season starts. We want to be your go-to. I joked about the 107,601, but we ultimately we want to be the best Michigan channel. Are we going to be as popular as Joel Klatt or something like that? Okay, maybe not, but we want to be the best Michigan channel, right? So,
right.
That's what we're shooting for. And those of you who are supporting in any way, we appreciate it. But now there's a new way to do it, and we're really excited. And some other ways just to throw out there: hit the Amazon link. Just takes a second, doesn't cost you anything extra if you're already doing your shopping on Amazon. And you could also join Mark's Patreon if you want to support Voice of College Football main site, or obviously you now have the opportunity to be a YouTube member right here at Michigan Football, the Voice of College Football, and get some specific things. If you're a fan of the team, access to some special things on here. So that's very exciting. Okay, so why don't we hop to recruiting, TJ? So we've got a couple of pieces on recruiting, including Brady Hart, who we've been hearing a lot about. So I'd love to hear kind of what your intel is on that while I get the video queued up here.
All right, yeah. So I spoke about this. I don't know if it was last week Tuesday or Thursday show, but I kind of talked about. I don't really follow 26 recruiting very much, except for one exception, and that is quarterback, or if a kid commits from a 26 class. So a player I want everyone to get familiar with is quarterback of the 26 class, Brady Hart. As you can see in your huddle tape, I want everyone to identify this kid is a sophomore. Okay, so what you are seeing on this high school on this tape right now is this is a sophomore playing varsity ball. And he doesn't play like a sophomore. And most kids ranked in where he's ranked, do not play their age, right? They obviously, if they're playing varsity, they're playing at a senior level, extremely elite talent. Well, what makes this recruitment even more interesting is Notre Dame just picked up a commitment by a quarterback by the name of Noah Grubbs. And Notre Dame was kind of, there was a 2 quarterback battle, and it was between Brady Hart and Noah Grubbs. Well, now that Notre Dame is out of the picture, there is some momentum, or things seem to be trending, and there was even a prediction placed by a Notre Dame insider for Brady Hart to be to commit to Michigan. Now, I'm not saying a commitment on the verge, but I am saying we appear to be in an extremely great position. He does like Michigan. Kirk Campbell has connected with Brady Hart, and this is the type of quarterback that, in my opinion, is the caliber of quarterback we need to be landing. Like this cycle right now, we have Carter Smith committed, and Carter Smith is a very high upside, low floor player, where this kid is a higher floor, high upside player. I mean, in my opinion, he has a JJ McCarthy caliber arm. He is less mobile, which is why, so he's ranked, he's the number 9 overall quarterback in the class. I think he's ranked I have it right here on my Excel sheet. He's ranked 92nd. If he was mobile, he'd be ranked higher. But honestly, with our run game and our offensive line, our offensive system, I don't give a shit. Like, personally, like, he's a perfect fit for our system. He's a perfect fit for our team. And if we can land Brady Hart, this is without doubt the type of prospect or quarterback, one, you could build a class around, and 2, you could be extremely excited about. I mean, so imagine a Jaden Davis, Carter Smith, Brady Hart quarterback room. And dare I mention, he has the greatest Michigan name a quarterback may have ever had, and that is Brady Hart, right? So, I mean, it's almost fate, and I would lock it in because of how, like, it's essentially fate, but I can't do it just yet, but it is trending extremely well for Michigan.
Now, if his middle name was Biaka Batuka, I would say, yes, he's a lock. There's no way he's not coming to Michigan.
Right. But all right, so we'll move on to Julian Horton. Now, this is an interesting recruitment, guys. This is kind of I don't want to say come out of nowhere, because the coaches have been working on Julian Horton for a while. I want you guys to pay attention to his huddle tape when John pulls this up. This is a Michigan special, okay? This kid here is committed to Maryland as we speak. He just visited over the weekend. I want you to watch this kid. Extremely athletic, extremely quick, diagnoses plays, lays the hammer. He's a free safety athlete. And what makes this recruitment extremely interesting is he's already committed to Maryland for the 25 class. He just visited Michigan this weekend, and he is already scheduling an official visit in the next few weeks. So it hasn't been official yet. But if you are already committed to another school and you were here this weekend and you are now going to schedule an official visit, those are signs that this is heating up quick. Okay, and I'm going to say trending heavy. I'm not going to lock this in, but this is as close to like I am about to lock this in, but it's as close to the edge of not quite there yet as it can get. That's how close this kid, how sure I am he's going to be a Michigan Wolverine. We'll see if it happens. I'm not locking it in to clarify, but I mean, I'm extremely optimistic that this kid will be a future Michigan Wolverine. I mean, you can just see offensively his talent. He will play defense for Michigan, but you can just see
I
like
was going to ask
this
that.
this is a pure athlete, man. And you know, this is the type of clay that you put in a defense like ours. I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, this is a Zeke Berry type athlete. Extremely excited for the potential with Horton here. So I mean, how do you guys think of? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, his ability to zip past the lines of scrimmage that quickly and get to where he needs to go. I think that's huge. The fact that he's playing defense, I could see him in a secondary role very easily. I mean, if you look at the template, Will Johnson, for example, right, just has that. I could see similar type. Maybe that's very ambitious, right? But like I see similar bursts of speed. I see the ability if he needs to play a little bit of offense, because they're saying Will Johnson might play a little bit of offense this year, a couple of snaps maybe. So the ability to kind of do a lot of things, very versatile player. The fact that Michigan could get him from Maryland is huge. Because who would you rather, Ferris? Who would you rather play for? No offense to Maryland, but like 7-5, 8-4 perennial program, or somebody who just won the national championship? You're muted.
Yeah, excited to get a player from Maryland. Yeah, sorry about that. Well, yeah, there is a guy named Jashawn Barnum that I think will be introduced to some of these OSU fans if they don't know him already. I have no qualms about getting players that are committed to Maryland. Maryland does have some really good football players, and happy to do that. So, you know, I think one of the things is, you know, Michigan as a program, we're trying to do the right fit. We're trying to get the right fit. We're trying to get the NIL program for freshmen kind of upgraded. But getting the right people, as we saw with the Micah interview, you can tell right away that he's an excellent fit for Michigan. And that's the kind of, you know, those are the types of people that we want to get at Michigan. We are not just chasing stars like other programs might, you know, and we're not building, you know, origami trophies for off-season championships like other schools might. So I'll just stop there.
No, I mean, all facts. And yeah, I mean, so like, you know, John, you were talking about like maybe a player comparison. You know, when I was watching Julian Horton's film, I was thinking his burst and his play recognition, I was getting some Cole Sullivan vibes. Now, Cole Sullivan's obviously a linebacker, but I mean, playing a safety position, there are some transferable skills. And, you know, I was getting some of those, you know, heat-seeking missile vibes. And, you know, hopefully we land him, man. I mean, I think he'd be a very good addition to the class. I do like this player, high upside player. You know, we'll just have to see when he schedules his official visit. We'll definitely talk about this more on Michigan Live. So we'll transition. So we just went through an official visit weekend. Did you guys have any more comments on those, or? No?
Just a quick comment on Brady Hart. He does look like Jackson Johnson. If you look at his profile picture, they do look alike. I pointed it out in the chat. Jackson agreed.
Oh my God!
So
hold on. Wow. How about that? Yeah, there is. If you put a hat on him, you know, get an Alabama hat there. You could get a one of those globes behind it, and yeah, it could be very similar.
You could see it, yeah. So
I want to pull this comment up. So that's actually funny. The Trevor Lawrence comparison. I mean, obviously Trevor Lawrence was an elite talent, but I'm going to be honest. When I was watching his tape, I also saw a little Trevor Lawrence in his tape, but I don't want to put that type of comparison on a player because, like, if I don't know, like how close people follow recruiting. Everyone's at different levels. But Trevor Lawrence was an elite prospect, a once in a generation type prospect. But there's definitely some skills or attributes that you can see very similar. Now again, he's not Trevor Lawrence. That's not the comparison, but there's definitely some, even with the mechanics that I can see with the Trevor Lawrence and a Brady Hart. So again, we land Brady Hart, boys. That'll be a day we'll probably do a breaking news show, because it will be that type of impact for the Michigan program. But transitioning to the official visit weekend they just had, and I kind of wanted to touch on things. So last week, me and John and Ferris, we discussed this new approach, or this philosophy that apparently was agreed upon at the top levels of Michigan, from the collectives, from the regions, collectives, presidents, athletic department, and that was the agreed upon philosophy of now guaranteeing money to freshmen as well as portal players. And this weekend, and like we said, there is a lot of gray area. We weren't exactly sure how things were going to be allocated in the sense of like revenue sharing, how much money is going to be allocated to the football team. We still don't know those figures. We don't know how much money is going to go to either a position group or specific players. We don't know the strategy, but and I told you guys, being Sharon Moore's first official visit season, we're going to learn a lot. I'm going to learn a lot. You guys are going to learn a lot, and we can kind of see what's happening. Well, the first weekend is down, and what I've learned this weekend is it is true that the collectives have been green lighted to guarantee money. That is true, and the reason why that's true is because revenue sharing is now legal. Freshmen can make money just as seniors can make money. But what has not changed with Michigan, and this is a Sharon Moore philosophy, guys, he is not offering what many of us have wanted Michigan to offer these freshman recruits. So this weekend happened with Derek Meadows came and visit, who Micah Kapana helped recruit. Douglas Utu was also here, another major target who Micah Kapana was recruiting, because they're all from Bishop Gorman, the same program that he was from. And another big fish was Kai Noah Winston, which is the safety out of the DC area. And by all accounts, the recruiting NIL strategy, or the pitch, the NIL pitch, was no different from what it was previously. So our source that we got on the guaranteed the money being guaranteed to freshmen and portals, that source, guys, and I'm going to tell you this right now, as good as it gets. Like, there's maybe two other people who are more credible than this source. And those two other people would be Sharon Moore and Ward Manuel. Okay. And then the next most credible person that you could possibly get that information from, that's the source that said what he said on this topic. So it is legitimate information. It is good. It is a good sourced information, but the reality is this: Sharon Moore still philosophically is taking the same approach they were taking before. And that's how he wants to build his program. And we are now learning that. Official visit season's on us. Now, let me also say this, though, to give some clarity. It's 1 week. What I'm gonna do personally is I'm just gonna observe this entire official visit season, and then at the end of June, I'm gonna give a take to.
Oh, we lose him.
We caught him in the Matrix a little bit there.
All right. Hopefully you'll come back. One thing I did want to point out as we were kind of getting through that. I was looking at there was a picture. I don't know if you, John, if you have it or not, a picture of Utu.
Oh.
And his family. Oh, sorry, we lost you there for a little while. I was just when you're talking about recruiting freshmen and things like that, there was a picture of Utu and his family. Did you see that picture, TJ?
No, I don't know when you guys lost me. How long was I gone for?
Like 30 seconds, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see the picture.
Okay. Yeah, you get back to what you were talking about, but I'll get that.
At the end of the official visit season, I'm gonna give my take on where the program's at, what's really going on. I'll figure it out. I'll find out. I'll reach out to my guy, and see if he can give me some perspective that maybe isn't public or whatever. But we'll find out, and I'll give an analysis on it, and I'll see where we are. And guess what? We are all going to find out together the results of the philosophy, because this month should be the month Michigan capitalizes. We have 5 commits, boys. They have got to get momentum going. They've got to ramp it up. But let's talk about the individual players who did come. This was a very good weekend in the sense, and by all accounts that were taken, Michigan set the bar high, but we didn't land any commitments. And one of the struggles with being one of the first official visits is, and we talked about this, John, with Micah. I can't remember if it was before the show or during the show. It might have been before the show, actually. You know, Micah said he likes to have the middle official visit, or if not the middle, the last, because then you get a lasting impression, right? And this is the first weekend, so Michigan took their first shot. We'll see if they can fend the rest of the guys off, or the rest of the programs off. But so out of all the players who visited this weekend, Douglas Utu is the one that I feel best about. I think Michigan leads for Douglas Utu. I'm not in a position where I would lock it in yet, because he does have these remaining official visits, and we don't know. Official visits can change everything. That's the thing about recruiting. All it takes is one visit. But I would say Douglas Utu, I feel absolutely the best about. The other player I feel really good about is Marco Jones. I feel good about it. I'm not saying we lead. I just know his dad loves the program. I've spoken to his dad. His dad's actually very approachable in terms of, like, I was able to talk with him, and he's very open about the process, and a lot of, like, he's not a closed off guy. He's willing to share information and all of that. So he's a cool dude. And I do feel good about it. I know USC, I know Texas. I know the Texas schools are trying to get Marco Jones. So we'll have to see. And those are big money players, dude. And I just don't know if, our NIL strategy is going to be compelling enough with the fact that Sharon Moore is going status quo. And then in terms of Derek Meadows, which is one of the guys that Micah Capana's recruiting, I'm not as optimistic about that, but hopefully Micah, hopefully Micah can sway him, and we could see where it's at. And then the last guy I'll hit on over the official visit season is Noah Winston. Listen, in my opinion, this is a Michigan-Penn State battle. I think Michigan is in a good position. It just comes down to Penn State. And as I mentioned before, I believe on Tuesday's show, he has a cousin who's currently at Penn State. And he's in Penn State's obviously geographically closer to DC area. Those are two things going against us. The third school in the picture is North Carolina, but I'm less worried about North Carolina. To me, it's a Michigan-Penn State battle. So we're just going to have to see. And that's kind of where we are right now with recruiting.
Yeah. Ferris, you got any thoughts?
Yeah. I could attempt to share, but we didn't do it in show prep there. But so it appears, or first of all, Utu is a little bigger than Sharon Moore. So I think there were some question marks of exactly how tall he is, but in terms of his height, he is taller than Sharon Moore. They're standing right next to each other in the picture. And then also it appears that his mom has a very custom Michigan leather jacket. Everybody's decked out in Michigan gear, but it's not just the here's the sweatshirt to go with the other sweatshirts. This looks like a keeper. So I'm not a fashion expert, but it looks like his mom is really into very custom gear that appears to be in the special room in the MDN, if you will, right? So for the more expensive stuff, right? So perhaps a good sign there. His whole family was there, and they were in the press box or in that like luxury area, if you will. So
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I have no issue with the general concept of finding team guys, right? You just saw one 30 minutes ago. He is somebody who, in my view, really is the epitome of a Michigan man in terms of being humble, being just a good human being, and also hella talented and hella underrated. And I feel like that's a pretty like prototypical like type of player that Michigan is going to go for and probably succeed on getting some of the time, because they really want to find those types of players, kind of diamonds in the rough who really aren't even in the rough. It's just that the people who run the recruiting sites don't actually sometimes watch the film or go to or actually see these people. So I think the general concept of having a team guy versus an individual, somebody who's all about themselves and about their TikTok followers and things like that, I have no objection to that whatsoever. However, I do think that we need to really seriously take a look at the mirror and look at, like, the Bryce Underwood example is a perfect example. That's a player, as far as I'm concerned, you back up the Brinks truck. That's the type of player that is a clearly generational, at least compared to the, a lot of the others in that class. That is a player that you back the Brinks truck up for. There are certain players, I think, that are exceptions to the general way that Michigan's done things. So with that said, that's kind of where I'm at. I have no issue, like I said, with finding culture fits, but I do think they're going to really need to look at it in the next couple months. And if Michigan is like way behind in the rankings, and then it starts to translate to games, then I think you're going to see more of an urgency to shift.
Of course.
I
think that's I hate to use the word unfortunately, but I mean, it is unfortunate. Like, hopefully there's not a regression, and that's what creates change. Like, I mean, I think many of us want evolution now so we can avoid regression. We want to maintain the elite status we've achieved. I mean, to be a top 5 program in college football, a top 3 program in college football, a freaking national champion in football. Like, college football is so goddamn competitive, dude. It's an arms race. To do what we were able to do, three-year Big Ten champion, national title winner, domination on the field, literal domination. We spanked Washington in the national title game. I mean, we want to just maintain this, right? And then, there'll be people in the comments, oh, well, we did it in the NIL era. I'm not even gonna get into the debate. And if you want to debate it, there's a Thursday night call-in show. I'm always happy to have that discussion. We can have that discussion anytime you want. But yeah, man. I mean, I'll say this though. I'll preface my final analysis on Sharon's recruiting approaches. And when he got hired, he says he wants to be an aggressive recruiter. And honestly, guys, I have not seen it yet. I have not seen this aggressive. I've seen it in Dusty May, but I have not seen it with Sharon. But maybe Sharon's trying to find his way. I don't know. I mean, we still need to observe. We still need to see. But I'm slightly underwhelmed. But I also, we need to give it the entire month, the entire official visit season, because they may knock it out the park. Like, there's still a lot of room. There's still a lot of time, and we'll just have to see what they do.
Yeah. What I would say, first of all, is Sharon Moore has to ramp up with 5,280 things all at once, right? So, one of the things that I heard about in the last week is that Sharon Moore actually reached out not just to Jim Harbaugh, but to other head coaches and ex-head coaches and coaches that are not even in football, to learn, to be humble, to try to learn what the best way of doing things is. He is not going to be a Control-C, Control-V, cut and paste kind of whatever Harbaugh did, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. It doesn't look like that at all. And I think we do have to be patient with recruiting. And also we should remember that recruiting has 2 aspects to it. There's freshman recruiting, and then there is recruiting that's transfer portal related. And I am, TJ had, I'd say, slightly a pessimistic tinge there. I'm pretty optimistic. I feel like I'm more optimistic about this team this fall, and a lot of that has to do with the transfer portal and filling holes the right way, not losing people. That's another piece too. I am more optimistic right now that Michigan can get into the playoffs than I was let's say 3 months ago. It did feel like a whole bunch of people had left, including coaches, but it feels like we've gotten the right replacements. And I think a lot of people also forget the reps. There's this returning player, a returning production stat that's out there. Well, you also have to look at backup players that are rotational players that come in and out. And are we going to miss a beat in some places, like, let's say, quarterback? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But on the other hand, unlike most teams, our quarterback is not the extreme focal point. Everything lives and dies with the quarterback. So I am optimistic that Michigan can get through the season with perhaps about 2 losses, roughly, get into the playoffs. A lot of that had to do with recruiting. Maybe it's not freshman recruiting. It's more of the transfer portal, keeping people and getting the right fit. That for 2024, I feel great. What's going to happen 2025 and beyond? There are so many moving parts, and Sharon Moore has to get up to speed on so many different things that let's just be a little patient. And I think it's going to work out. That would be my optimistic take on this.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, let's, we've got one take that's a little bit, we kind of got the full spectrum here, right? We've got a optimistic take. We've got a, not so optimistic take, but at the end of the day, I think that it all comes from a love of the program. And that's why we're saying here that you're not always going to get the sunshine and rainbows and puppies here. Sometimes you will. Sometimes you're going to get, where we need to really be brutally honest. And I do think that staying the course right now could be really problematic, if not this year, in future years. I don't think this year it's going to impact too much because you've still got some of the residual from pre-NIL or pre-NIL getting really big. The Donovan Edwards of the world, those types of players, Will Johnson, players like that. But if more of a flip isn't made, I do think you're going to start to really see it show up on the football field.
So if a player like Utu comes to Michigan, that will tell you. I mean, that's a 5-star player, so that'll tell you that
he's not a 5-star. He's a top 100 player. He's not. I mean, he's close, but he's in the range of elite. Okay, a top 150 player, top 100 is obviously more, a higher range, but the top 150 guys are the NIL guys for the most part. And look, I said this. I'm in observation mode. I'm giving it till the end of official visit season. My red flag's not up yet. All I mentioned that was, I guess you could say pessimistic, but I would say it's an honest observation. Is it's simply, where is this aggression you talked about? I have not seen it. I'm not seeing it in your, for example, these official visits that just happened. So all the kids take these pictures or, with the Michigan gear on. If you look at what USC's doing, you look at some of these other programs, OSU, guys, I don't know who's setting up our photo shoots, but they're worlds apart, man. Michigan is just, they got to step it up, man. If they're not stepping up, I mean, they got to step up the visits. They got to step up the NI. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm going to give it to the end of the month, but just think about this. 5 committed kids off of a national title. That's not a normal recruiting cycle after a national title. Now, look, we'll see. Like I said, we got 3 more weeks of official visits. A lot can happen. We had, I think it was 3 years ago, we had 11 commitments one weekend. So, I mean, it can change like that. It really can. So, I mean, I am in observation mode. I'm just, I'm thinking out loud. Where is this aggression? I'm not concerned yet, but I just, I think after this weekend and learning about Sharon Moore's pitch with NIL, I'm just wondering, what is, I don't know. I don't understand why I don't know. I'm at a loss sometimes. I don't know. It could be Michigan arrogance, man. Like they just think it doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand. There just seems to be a gap.
Well, TJ, this might get talked about tomorrow as well. So Mark Rogers, voice of college football, is going to have Steve Dace from Michigan podcast on the main channel, probably simulcast on Michigan. And so they're going to talk about this. And this is one of Steve's big topics too, on the necessity to step it up on NIL. So I think you'll hear some of that. So definitely tune in to Mark and Steve tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then TJ, I'll throw it back to you just as a quick reminder on the call-in show this week.
Yep. So this Thursday, 8 p.m., we got the call-in show. I got Cliff, who is the other half of the Point a Minute segment we have that airs on Tuesday mornings. So this Thursday, we're going to be talking open topic, all things Michigan. I really want to get Cliff's perspective on his outlook on the season, what he's looking forward to, who he thinks is going to be QB1, stuff like that. But it'll be a great show. We've had 3 call-in shows already. All 3 have been great. Really, I mean, like packed caller to caller, just conversation. And I've really appreciated the community. And, I said it before, it's really just the start, and we're just going to keep evolving the call-in show. We got, just like the channel, just like the network, we got a lot coming for it.
Absolutely. So our final topic today, and then we'll let everybody get back to whatever the heck they want to do after this. But we do have some thoughts on the college football 25 rankings. So Michigan was rated fairly highly from what we've heard in the 90s. So that's very exciting. But Ferris, I think you've got some general thoughts on the landscape there for the upcoming return of the video game.
Yeah. So first of all, I know, there's probably a little bit of a crossover audience here between the video game and I think there's going to be a lot of newbies. There's going to be a lot of people here that are going to get beaten by a 15-year-old and get humbled that way in this game. Michigan. So, if you're over 90, you're doing pretty well in this game. And, Michigan's a 92 on offense, 92 on defense and offense, actually, both, which seemed a little odd to me. I would have thought defense would be one of the best, and then a 93 overall. Now, this was based on screen captures. So maybe this was kind of early days and things are going to get, revised or something to that effect. EA Sports is releasing some little clips at a time. So they did release some clips that had Michigan in it. If you're interested, Michigan State is at an 85-78 overall rating of an 85. So we're at a 93. Michigan State's an 85. Nothing from OSU that we've seen yet. Clemson is ahead of Michigan at a 95 and a defense that's a 98. That made no sense to me, on the surface. So we'll see. We'll see how these numbers adjust. Swanky Wolverine, for those of you know Swanky. Swanky did an alteration. He kind of publishes what I would call April Fool's content year round, having to do with Michigan, and he made Michigan a 99-99 and put them up against OSU in the low 80s or something like that. They did show Iowa. Iowa was at a 71 for offense and a 94, even higher than Michigan for defense. Overall score actually matches MSU. I'm sorry. Let's see if other schools of note. Yeah, they had Miami 80 and a 70-80 on offense, 78 on defense, overall score of an 84. So
the Clemson one was what was surprising to me. I have a lot of respect for Clemson, and obviously Jordan Bowman and Tiger Paw, who do our Clemson show. But 95 in 2024 was a little bit shocking. If this was 10 years ago, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's, that makes sense. But now the fact that they're above Michigan, that was interesting.
Yeah.
And how
yeah.
high they
So
were.
of all the schools I've listed, Clemson at 95, Michigan at 93. I'm curious from the two of you if you think, in terms of individual players, and maybe put it in the chat, and it could be OSU players too, but Michigan or OSU players, who's going to break 90 in terms of a score, individual player kind of score. So on the individual roster, I think we're saying Will Johnson for sure. Any kind of predictions on that? I mean, he's probably going to break a 95, I think.
I'd say 97. I'd say he should be a 97.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he's elite. He's arguably the best corner in college football. I want to before I give you actually, all right, I'll give you individual players, but I have a take on those overall rankings. But,
okay, yeah, go ahead.
90 freaking 2 on defense. What the hell are they doing, bro? The defensive ranking, in my opinion, should be at a 96. This defense is elite. It's going to be it's definitely going to be a top 10 defense. It's arguably top 5, and it might be number 1 this season. Our defense has no holes. You may say, okay, well, maybe CB2 is a question mark, but I feel confident in the rotation of guys who are going to be battling for CB2. Outside of that, name the hole. The defensive line is going to be better. The linebacking core, I honestly believe, could be better than last year's with Ernest Hausman and Jayshon Barnum. And then Will Johnson's only better than last year. He's a lockdown corner. And then our safety tandem that they got, and they just brought in those other safeties, from Manningham to Walker. Our defense should be above a 95, should be a 96 in my opinion. The offense, and I'll give the counter, should our offense be a 93? Probably not. It should probably be like a 90 or a 91, but that defensive ranking is bullshit. We'll see though. It said the overall ratings weren't official, so they're subject to change. We'll see how that goes. But to answer your question, Ferris, guys who I think would be over 90, and I don't want to steal too much of John's thunder here, but I think you could say, I bet you Donovan Edwards is over 90 because he's the cover athlete. Colson Loveland, Will Johnson, which we talked about. Jayshon Barnum should be over 90 in my opinion. And then I think that's...
Well, you've got Grant and Graham.
Oh, hell yeah. Grant Graham, you're right. Facts. Those are 90 players for sure. I mean, the thing is, too, that we don't necessarily know how they're going to do the rating system. Madden's very... Madden used to have a way better rating system. I feel like their current rating system, I think, is lacking. I think it's a little you got this disproportion of ratings. Is you have a lot of 70s and like low 80 guys, and you got these very extremely rare 90 guys. But I don't know. I would say those guys I would argue would be in the 90s. What do you think, John?
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I'm hearing people saying 99 for 5 or 6 players. You have to understand how stingy they are with 99s. Right. I don't even know if Will Johnson's getting a 99. I could see Will Johnson getting like a 97. Yeah. And then I could see Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant getting low 90s, maybe. But expect a lot of 80s. And in that realm, you're going to see a lot of 80s when you think you probably should be 90, but you're going to see a lot of people in the 80s. I would expect, and anybody who hasn't gotten a lot of playing time could be even lower than that. So you just have to remember, for those of you who aren't as familiar with the game, how they do the rankings over there at EA. They're stingy with like the really high ones.
Yeah. So in Madden, I believe there are 6 players. There were 6 players in last year's game that were 99s. How many will there be in this game? Overall, and you're talking about 4 times the number of teams, right? 130 versus 30, right? So yeah. So it'll be interesting. All right. So Loveland 93, Mason Graham 94, Kenneth Grant 95, Will Johnson 97, maybe a couple ticks lower for Graham and Grant. Loveland. Do you think Loveland's going to be judged purely? How does a tight end get judged? Blocking and catching and everything.
Well, I mean, yeah,
there's projection with all the rankings. I mean, there's projection. They have to project. I think Colson Loveland will likely be a top 3 rated tight end in the game.
Yeah. Gameplay itself, from what I understand, is going to be very interesting and more detailed than Madden in some ways. They went through a lot of effort to try to make it unique for every one of any college football team that you want. So I'm really looking forward to seeing my Eastern Michigan as well. So I went to U of M, but I love Eastern as well. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. It's supposed to play faster, so I'm looking forward to that as well than Madden. So some of that might be the fact that if you're in the pros, all the players are a lot closer together, more bunched up together. And in college, there's more of a spread, so you can have maybe crazy plays working for you more often against lesser teams. So we'll see what happens with respect to that. I do think that, I'm really, really hoping that they went through a lot of detail on Michigan's actual plays, making it very unique. And maybe there's an opportunity for us to actually show some of those plays within the game and have it be somewhat realistic. So we'll see with respect to that. I see it as a potential educational tool. And if you're on the fence, I would say I would say if you don't get the game, there's going to be a 15-year-old standing next to you at the big house that's going to know the schemes and players better than you, perhaps. So I'm just giving you that warning right now. So you might have to do a little bit of homework if you want to catch up to that 15-year-old. So PSU has not been published. So there's a handful. I mean, it's not really even published. It's based on screenshots from a preview. So
yeah, Iowa was like 71 on offense, and I thought that was high. I thought they should be like 50s.
I'll take another look at. So Iowa 71 on offense, 94 on defense. MSU 85 on offense, which I think is pretty high. 78 on defense, and they both have the same exact score, but they're kind of flip-flopped offense defense of an 85.
Right.
Both Iowa and MSU.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of see, how many people that know college football participated in some of these rankings, because in some cases it makes sense, and in other cases it feels wildly off, like this should have been their ranking 10 years ago or whatever else. So it's kind of a mixed bag of both. I guess, to be fair, Madden can be like that too, where some of the rankings and scores, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah. One other thing that I left off was that probably should be considered is players getting tired and players getting injured within the game. So there might be like little red areas on the arm, or different plays, thighs, whatever. And you've got to keep track of that. And you are rewarded if you have a deep team, I think, in this game. So I think Michigan could do really well. I mean, players who use Michigan could do really well, if in fact Michigan, which I think they will be rotating players in and out. Let's say in the secondary, for example, things like that.
Defensive line. That's what we do. We rotate defensive line. Like, we rotate 8. We were 8 deep. So, I know the game's gonna be great. And hopefully we can bring some of this game to the channel. That's something we're talking about right now, and we'll see what the capabilities are and what we're able to do. But yeah, I mean, I'm ecstatic. I already told you I pre-ordered the game. Have you pre-ordered it yet, Ferris? Or
I haven't. I'm trying to figure. My anniversary is July 16th, so I'm not going to be playing the game that day. so I'm probably just going to wait. I'm just going to wait till the 19th. That's the the pre-order or whatever, the deluxe version, which actually has Donovan Edwards in the center, though. So I don't know if what the value is of that, but because it's electronic, it's a digital copy anyway. But so probably the 19th I will. I did reach out to my nephew, who is my gaming expert, and he said he would help us. He would probably run. He's looking to run a Michigan versus Texas simulation as soon as he gets the game. So we'll see what happens with that. So
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot of ground tonight, and so I think it's time for final thoughts and where could people find you. I want to thank everybody before we do that, though. No matter how you were involved tonight, whether you were hitting the like button, you subscribe to the channel, as we are still in a battle with Ohio State on the subscribers, to those who super chatted, and especially to those who became a member, including Roy, including ZZM by way of Moose, who both are part of the Those Who Stay Will Be Champions tier, and Moose. So, we appreciate all of you, and we've posted the link a couple of times. We would really appreciate if you can, if you have the extra in the couch cushions, to consider even the $2.99 membership. If you like the content that we put out, 2 live shows a week minimum, clips every day, YouTube shorts, community posts, all that good stuff. With the memberships, you even get more than that. And you can really kind of bump your engagement up a notch with some of us directly. We'll follow you, etc., DMs, all that good stuff, depending on which level you choose. So with all that said, we'll start with Ferris. Final thought for us, and where could people find you?
yeah, so a couple of things. We did publish a Smash the Numbers yesterday, and it's a shorter Smash the Numbers, but it has a lot of detail, and you may want to pause it in certain spots. It includes, so it's on this channel, but it's known as Smash. You'll see the title is Smash the Numbers. Expected number of wins for Michigan, and I used some Phil Steele information to basically figure out, what would be the win probability based on point spreads. So those of you who are interested in those kind of things may want to take a look. I will give you, at least a little nugget here that I believe out of the 3 big games, the probability is that that they're going to win at least one of them. There's a 75% probability that they're going to win at least one out of Oregon, Ohio State, and Texas. So, and this is just based on what were the actual lines or projected lines for each of the games, and then also, the expected value in terms of win probability. So it might help you if you listen in on this to basically try to figure out, okay, what's going to happen game to game? What is, what do we think is realistic for Michigan? And, bottom line here is I think they are just on the border of making the playoffs. So this is going to be a super fun season. Another Smash the Numbers next Monday will probably have to do with the video game. So I'll more to come on that. And you can reach me at Bobblehead Guru on Instagram or TikTok. Thanks for having me today.
Ferris,
Absolutely.
Always appreciate having you by, and go blue.
Go blue.
Go blue.
Okay. With that said, we're on to TJ. Final thought for us. What a show, man. What a show.
Yeah, dude. Epic interview. Hopefully we can get more of these. We actually have another interview we're setting up with I don't want to give too much information on it. It's not a player, but it is somebody who's very interesting, who can give us some very interesting perspectives. We're setting that interview up. Me and Ferris are going to be building and making that one happen. That one's going to be coming hopefully next week. If not next week, we will find a time. So that's something you guys can look forward to. We are going to try and, we'll try and get interviews here and there. We will continue what we're already bringing to the table. But if we get opportunities with very interesting people, we're going to bring them to the table and introduce them to you guys and offer interesting perspectives. Because I thought bringing Micah on today, I learned a lot. I thought he was great. Shout out to him, man. And, it's going to be sweet watching him on Saturday being like, yeah, I interviewed that guy, you know, like, that's going to be epic, bro. So I can't, you know, I'm extremely stoked about that. But in regards to, you know, where you can find me, Ronan Sports Talk, I'm on Twitter, chatting it up, you know, follow me, and, you know, we can connect, talk recruiting, football, anything. And on Thursdays, we got the call-in show. I'm going to have Cliff, like I mentioned earlier. You know, you guys want to, you know, anything you guys want to talk about, call in. We could talk recruiting. We could talk team. We could talk Big Ten. You know, you got this. There's a lot of speculation right now, John, that Super League is in motion right now with the SEC and the Big Ten. Open topic. We have had Buckeyes call the show before. We welcome it. We don't shy away from it. We're here for debate. We're here for discussion, and you know, continue to make the voice of college football, the Michigan Channel, your home. And I look forward to building a community with all of you.
Well said, TJ. And we'll all be watching Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern when you're taking the calls and with Cliff and the community there.
Absolutely. Thanks, John, and go blue, man.
Go blue, TJ. Okay, with that, it is up to me. And my name is John D'Adamo, and I was your host for the last hour and a half. We really packed this one. So lots of good clips and lots of good content from this show to come. You can find me on Twix at John D'Adamo, and it's pretty simple there. Couple of last comments. You know, we've got, again, we try to highlight the YouTube members. So Roy is a member. Opinions aren't facts. That's true. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Moose enjoying something that's going on. So these are our members. We really appreciate both of you becoming YouTube members here at the Voice of College Football. I'm going to put the link one more time. You can become a member for as low as $2.99, and that gets you the badge, that gets you the emojis, and it gets you the shout out at the bottom of the ticker here. And you can just kind of go up from there, depending on, you know, your budget, your personal situation. You could do that, or heck, just hit the like button. That's free. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell. That's all free. And the amount of content that we're putting out there every single day, you're going to want to subscribe and hit the bell so you know when our call-in show is happening, so you know when our clips are happening and everything that's going on. So that's all the free stuff that you can do with liking and subscribing and hitting the bell. Just takes a second. So with all that said, reminder one more time that tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football, will be talking with Steve Dace, Michigan podcast, and then tune in for our next live stream Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern with TJ and Cliff, who you may know from the point per minute show on Michigan football, Voice of College Football. All right, y'all. I think that does it for me. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in for Micah and for the rest of our show. And until next time, go blue.